experience finding app. I feel like, once again, this introduction is too brief. So I shall hand over to you, James, and let's hear all about it.
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be here. Dieter asked me a few weeks ago if I wanted to present, and I had no idea why. But then he said it was a creativity conference, and I'm a creative person, so why not? And to start off, everyone has said everything that I was going to say. So now I have to be creative and think outside the box. So the first thing, Pierre said, who inspired you and who was there to encourage you? And I'm very lucky my mom is here. And she's one of the people, an artist, same as my dad actually, he's not here unfortunately. I'm going to read you from my phone. I didn't want to have notes, but I feel like I need to use them now. And I'm also very glad I'm not last, because that's going to be really tough. So one thing that's interesting, someone mentioned this global consciousness. I believe it was Amy or someone else. And it's interesting because my topic for today was that there is no box. And that was then mentioned before by Jay. And I've heard it a few times, but not many people talk about it. So it's interesting that on a global level, people are more connected than we realize. And we're all starting to think more and more the same way and create and be more creative in the same way. And then the funny thing you said about your 3 years, Amy said this 3 years instead of 4 years in university, and that made me think about lazy people. And just something very interesting is that lazy people are actually usually the best people to go for, because they're going to find the easiest and most creative route to the solution, because they don't want to put any work into it. Speaking as a lazy person. And then just one of the things to think about, this is the think outside the box. So I saw some people wrote think outside the box there. And we also have the term, the sky is the limit. But instantly we're already putting a limitation, because why is the sky the limit? That shouldn't be the limit. Shouldn't it be forever, till the end of the universe, or wherever we can go? And the same as the box. The box has 4 walls, but our imagination is limitless, as long as we let it happen. And what Pierre was saying about your inner child, that's the limitless opportunity. If your kid your inner child can just be free to play, and you listen to it and really let it go. So that was my first part. So I was working for Nikki Beach for 6 years, and I worked in the corporate side of it. I was the creative director, and I spent most of my time trying to be creative. I was forcing creativity, because I was told to, I was being paid to be creative. And very often I was sitting in the same office, looking at the same 4 walls, and not coming up with any solutions. I was just the same thing over and over again. And I would look at other things online, I would look at other designs I did in the past, or other designs that other people have done, and nothing new would come, and nothing would inspire me. And then I started traveling, and I started getting out of the office, and I started talking to people, and then I got tons of inspiration. It was really, really interesting. But at the bottom of it, I could never really let myself be creative, because, well, not let myself be creative, I was never able to, because I was limited by corporate constraints, and that's going back to what Jay was mentioning. So hence, that's why I resigned, and now I'm busy with a startup, and hopefully that's going to let me be as creative and without limits as possible. Let's see. Hopefully there's some people as well to keep me in line, because if I'm too creative and I just wander all the time, I'm never going to get anywhere. And then there's another part that I find very interesting. So this is actually going to lead to my question, but I don't want to be too quick. I recently learned that with founding my company, I am only one tiny piece of the puzzle. And with creativity, a lot of creative people tend to sit on an island of their own, and they don't like to take any critique, they don't want to listen to other people, they don't want to own the idea, they don't want to share it with people because it's theirs. And I learned recently that you need everybody to be a success. You need to work together, you need to be part of a huge team, and then through their success, you'll succeed. And through your creativity, they can be creative, and you can all actually move forward together in the right direction. And so the interesting thing that's leading to my last question, my question is, as a kid, my dad, who was very much into design, he worked 42 years for Philips as a product designer, huge inspiration, and he also told me not to become a designer, and I didn't, and somehow I still ended up being somewhat of a designer. But he would always show me these pictures of concept cars that were super cool, like they'd just be amazing, and they'd have all these crazy lines, and they'd be super unrealistic, and they always look like Batman vehicles, Batmobiles. And then he would show me the real car, and it looked nothing like the concept. And it always made me wonder what happened along the way where we go from something super creative and super cool and everybody loves it to suddenly a really boring Volkswagen that has no features, no lines, no design anymore. And it kind of makes you also wonder on the other side where you have iPhone. So in 2007, someone mentioned that's when iPhone came out. And you put an iPhone today next to the iPhone that was released 10 years ago, it's the same phone. It still has a camera, it has a touchscreen, it has a microphone. Has anything really changed? It's not really innovated, it's not really being created new. And if we look at all the other copycats out there, they're not creating anything interesting anymore. So my question, just to close this off, is what's the difference between innovation and creativity? Thank you. That's it.